As you've probably figured out by now, this video is not going to be about tech. But I am in the process of working on several tech-related videos right now, including the performance evaluation of the ITX PC that I built recently. So get yourself caught up on that content if you're looking forward to some more tech-related stuff, and I'll be back with it soon. But craft beer is another passion of mine. It's another, not just hobby, it's something that I find absolutely fascinating, and I'm a huge supporter of independent craft brewers all across the country. So when I heard that pFriem Family Brewers, based out of Hood River, Oregon, was starting up their own bottle club, of course I had to join. Now that sort of paints the picture for, framing all of the videos surrounding this moving forward. I am already a fan of pFriem Family Brewers. So my scrutiny with a product like pFriemster's Union is going to be a little bit jaded, but more importantly, I'm going to have a more discerning eye and expect more out of it because I already know what pFriem is capable of as a brewery. So while I go ahead and start taking everything out of the box, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about this. So pFriemster's Union is basically something that pFriem has wanted to do for some time now as a way to connect on a more meaningful level with their super fans, if you will, and give them something really special, something that's sort of their unique way of saying thank you for being such a staunch supporter of us. Here's access to some awesome product. And what you basically have as an end result is what's referred to as a bottle club. Basically, the way this membership works is you're charged quarterly, so once every 3 months, for an allocation of beer that was collected and cultivated by pFriem to send to you. Now, this normally comes as 6 pairs of beer, so 12 bottles in total, each at about 375 milliliters in size, or 12 ounces for those of you that are using different measuring systems. There's also several other club extras that you get, like discounts in the tasting room, including keg sales, which is a really nice touch. You also get discounts at one of the local hotels in the area to make sure that if you're, visiting from out of state or something, or even just that from out of town, you can make a weekend of it, or even just an extended day and a half trip of it, so you can really enjoy yourself at pFriem and some of the other local breweries in the area without completely destroying your wallet in the process. Now, as we'll see in a moment, there are some additional things that they send along with these memberships. Like the last allocation, they sent along some coupons for Olympia Provisions and for Kova Coffee, as well as sending over this really cool looking keychain that looked sort of like a keys to the city kind of thing that functioned as a bottle opener. Now, as of right now, the bottles, to my knowledge, for this club are not unique to the club yet. Rather, they are either existing product that's really limited run, stuff that isn't yet available to the general public, or stuff that has sold out to the general public. So if you weren't a part of pFriemster's Union and you went to the tasting room and you saw that they were out of a beer you were looking for, odds are pFriemster's Union members got an allocation of it regardless. So just talking about it like I have been, you can probably tell immediately that this is not for your typical consumer. This is geared specifically at the superfan. The people that already know they love pFriem beers, they go out of their way to look for them, and they go out of the way to talk about them to other beer enthusiasts. And that's sort of how the club has started off. When I joined, their Facebook group, which is private by the way, only had about, I don't know, maybe 100 or so people in it, but it obviously will be growing over time. So if you're actually interested in signing up for this, I'll have some more information for you at the end of the video, but for you to know what you're signing up for, we have to look at what comes in one of these boxes. So let's bring it in a little bit closer and we'll take a look at what exactly I just took out of this box. All right, so I decided to go freehand for this particular close-up. Now outwardly, it doesn't really look like you get a whole lot with this box, but appearances can be deceiving. What is not, however, deceiving is the amount of dust that got on these bottles. Yeesh, let's get that cleaned up. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with whatever is in this envelope right here. I have a pretty good idea, but let's see what shakes loose this time, shall we? Well, let's get it. There we go. Perfect. Envelopes inside envelopes. Wild. More challenging to do with one hand than it looks. And we have... there, finally. Oh, sweet, another pFriemster's Union sticker. So let's see, first thing that popped out, complimentary Westward experience for 2. So let's see, pFriemster's Union exclusive, visit Westward Whiskey Distillery. Our in-depth distillery tour gives you a look at the complete production process from bringing in grain, transforming the grain. Oh, cool, so it looks like this gets you a, this looks like it gets you a tour of Westward's distillery, and it gives you a guided tasting of some of their malt whiskeys. That's exciting. Aw, it's a card for founding members. So I didn't get the chance to mention this earlier. I am actually one of the founding members for pFriemster's Union. Of all people, they reached out to me and offered me one of the first wide rollout spots they had for this. So that was pretty cool. Basically what these letters read as is sort of personal accounts of what it is this particular box represents in terms of local terroir, if you will. Take a break so I can have a sip of this delicious, not pFriem, but still locally brewed and awesome hazy IPA. Wonderful. And let's see, what's this? Okay, so this is another message that we get sort of talking about the running theme for this particular release from Gavin Lord, the head brewer and blender for pFriem Family Brewers. I like that they include these personal touches, you know? It just gives the whole thing a more intimate feel, and it makes me feel like I'm a part of something that someone genuinely deeply cares about. I like hearing stuff like this from the mouths of the people that are behind this whole thing. And this is the bit that I knew was in the folder and that I love about this about these bottles that they release. Basically what we have here is a full breakdown of tasting notes and a description of every single beer that's included in the box. And as we can see right here, these two, maple barrel aged smoked porter and rum barrel aged porter, as well as Oud Creek, are included in this box. Super excited about those. Heard great things about the maple barrel aged smoked porter. This gives you not only the history of the style, or at least the specific beer, but it gives you the full tasting notes. It gives you food pairings that are gonna go great with it. It even gives you a basic breakdown of the ingredients that go into the beer, but not amounts, however, and not when they're applied to the beer, because that would be cheating. So yeah, this is like really good quality paper stock they use to print these. I mean, this alone is one of those details that makes something like this feel like, you know, this is worth what I'm shelling out for, which, just before I start going into the beers, this allocation plus shipping was $133, and I'll talk more about the price at the end of this video and why I can't really definitively have a final opinion on this club just yet. Anyways, let's start getting into the beers. So the first one we already touched on very briefly. This is, focus damn you. This is the maple barrel aged smoked porter. Next up, we've got the rum barrel aged porter. Another porter. This one is actually the slightly higher in alcohol, yet this one is similarly not labeled as imperial. Interesting. Now remember how I mentioned these aren't necessarily exclusive bottles? Well, this is definitely one that I've had before, but I am no less super stoked to have it in this box. This is Boss Besson. This is a lambic style ale with blackberries in it. I loved this beer the last time I had it earlier on this year. Super happy to start digging into this again. And something I just noticed about these particular bottles, this is a 2018 vintage beer, which means it definitely came out last year. Super excited to try this now that it's been aged a year. Oud Creek is essentially a barrel-aged cherry sour. Anytime you see the word creek or a reference to creek with that kind of spelling on a beer, it means it's gonna be tart, it's gonna involve cherries. In this case, they're fresh Mosier cherries that were added. and it is hopefully going to be delicious. I mean, that's the idea anyway, right? Now here's another one I've already had, but am no less excited to see in this box, pFriem. This is, again, their lambic style ale. This time it has plums in it. This was another one that, again, I was a huge fan of it when I had it from a trip we took there earlier this year, and I'm really excited to dig into this again. Now this last one, it's just called 2020. This one I have heard zero about. They're calling it their New Year Cuvée. This season offers a time of celebration, reflection, and gratitude. In this spirit, we offer the pFriem New Year Cuvée. In case you're not aware, cuvée is a fancy term for blend. So this is a blend of multiple different beers. Each year we present a unique blend with best wishes from the new year, from our family to yours. Op u gezondheid. I'm sure I'll have a translation for that underneath. Whatever it is, they're not even listing the ABV for this beer, so I imagine this probably isn't going to be a particularly large release. Oh, here we go. There's the missing information. 7.3% ABV. According to them, 2020 New Year Cuvée is neither beer nor wine. It's both. Tells you what the blend is. A special blend of our Riesling-based Druif Blanc and our Pinot Noir-based Druif Rouge. It is our ode, words are hard. It is our ode to the terroir of the Pacific Northwest with gratitude and good cheer. Happy New Year. Ooh! Both of those beers were in the last allocation, so I'm really excited to have them blended together. So now that we know what came in the box, let's talk conclusions. All right, so we've talked about what comes in the box, and along with this Westward Distillery experience, all said and done, this came out to a little over $133 and change. Now that does include $18 or so for shipping, which can only be done within the state of Oregon. Now, if you happen to be familiar with pFriem beers and you know someone that lives in the state of Oregon, you can actually appoint them as a trustee for you to either have the product shipped to their physical address and then they can worry about getting it to you, or they can physically go pick it up from pFriem's tasting room and then similarly deliver the product to you themselves. But here's the thing though, $133 in total, even if you're not getting it shipped, that's a tough pill to swallow for the average consumer, and even for someone that's a super fan of a brewery, paying that even once every 3 months is going to be a stretch for some people, which is why it's nice that you have first right of refusal every quarter. This is a rolling membership, so every quarter you're basically renewing that membership, and if you decide that this just isn't for you, you can opt out at any time you want to. pFriem understands that, you know, life tends to get in the way sometimes, and sometimes you just really need that extra $100 or so for something else. Now for me personally, this is already planned into my monthly budget for extras, so this isn't something that's really hurting me in the interim, but it is still nice to know that you have that safety net there in the event that something happens. So even with all of this considered, I'm still not quite comfortable in issuing a final verdict on what I think of pFriemster's Union as a club in general. If you want to see these individual beers rated as I go through and open the bottles and taste them, make sure you're following my Instagram account, because those of you that have been following me there notice that I have pivoted almost exclusively to craft beer and food content there, so that's where all of this is going to go up moving forward. Don't worry though, my Twitter account is still going to have all of your tech needs covered. So this is basically how this is going to go down. Once a quarter, when I get these shipments in, I'm going to be doing a much quicker unboxing video with you all and sort of briefly touching on what shows up in each box. I'll also be posting my impressions on these beers on Instagram, and at the end of a full year of being part of this club, I'm going to take a look at the sum total of all of these beers that we've experienced here and some of the other little club extras like the special events that they have just for club members, advanced access to ticket sales for other special events for pFriem Family Brewers, and then getting all of it together in one lump sum review at the end of it all, so I can tell you all with clear certainty whether or not something like this is going to be worth your hard-earned money. Anyway, I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this video. Again, if you were expecting tech content here, sorry about that, but it's not going away. still going to very much be one of the main focuses for this channel. But again, this is something else that I'm really passionate about, and it's something that I want to talk to you guys about. So hit me up in the comments down below if you like the format and pacing of this video, if you want to see more content like this. Do you want to see me maybe try some food pairing, share some recipes with you guys? I know a couple of other channels out there have been dabbling in this, and they've been having some pretty good results with it. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. And if you have any questions for myself or pFriem Family Brewers on how you can join this club, or if you want some more information that maybe I didn't cover in this video, I should have an email address down in the video's description and on the screen for you right now, so you can get in touch with them directly and, you know, get the deets that you need to make your informed decision. But that's gonna do it for now. So until next time, hit that sub button and the bell icon to make sure you get all my videos hitting your inbox, and take it easy.